zebra here at the Bryan Preserve, and today I'm going to tell you about all three different types as we see them on the road, and also how to identify one species from the other. Starting with our plain zebra here. This is Elvis. He is the only plain zebra we have here at the preserve. This is actually his retirement home. He is the oldest animal at the preserve at the age of 28. For reference, in the wild, plain zebra live to about their early teens, mid-20s. In captivity, they live up to their late 20s, early 30s. So Elvis is doing quite great here. He used to be at a facility in Texas where he was a breeding stallion, and he retired about 10 years ago. So now he is here living his best life. Now, plain zebra, out of the three species of zebra, plain zebra are the smallest species. They get up to about 600 pounds. So that's right around where Elvis is. So that's about as big as they get, which compared to the other species we'll see later, it's not very big at all. Elvis looks quite tiny, honestly. And something that separates, and that is a feature that is unique to the plain zebra. The other two species of zebra have plain white bellies. The stripes don't go across the belly at all. So if you're watching a movie or you see another zebra somewhere else that has stripes on the belly, it is 100% a plain zebra. And if Elvis happens to turn even just a little bit and you guys get a good look at his tail, all three species of zebra also have different tail patterns. And plain zebra, it kind of looks like black hair bands tied down the length of the tail, like little black ringlets along the tail. I know, this is Jackie. He's a greater kudu. I know everyone wants to hear about him. Does anyone have any questions about the plain zebra before I turn it over to Julia to talk about Jackie here?
You said 28. How long do they live? What's the average lifespan?
Yeah, so in captivity, it is around late 20s, early 30s, and in the wild, it's about late teens, early 20s. So yeah, he is doing quite well.
Wow.
Yeah.
How many zebras do you have? Is it just three? Three.
Well, this lovely little man right here is named Jackie, and he is a greater kudu antelope. Now, greater kudu are sometimes called the gray ghosts of Africa because they are really, really great at camouflaging and getting away from their predators. They don't have any way to fight.
They're right there. Love it.
They do have a pretty brilliant white little booty there, as well as some nice white on the face if we ever got to see it. Now, these Bontebok actually have a really cool conservation story. So they were, fortunately, that's like a lot of sneezes, right?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, thank you. So anyway, so they have a pretty cool conservation story. They unfortunately were overhunted. That's not the cool part. Until there were only about maybe 17 individuals left
In the world.
in the whole world. And a farmer put a fence around his property because he wanted to keep antelope out of his property. He trapped all of the antelope, all of the Bontebok that were left in his property. It wasn't a very high fence. The Bontebok can't really jump. It's so little. And so he single-handedly saved the species. And from that original
EBY Grevy. And this is the largest species of zebra. They can get up to about 1,000 pounds. So compared to Elvis's 600 pounds, Elvis is very tiny. I'm not going to hand it to you. You have to. So, and this is Karen. She's not scared of people at all. So she'll usually come right up to the fence for treats. So some identifying marks of the Grevy zebras, besides being massive compared to the plain zebra, is you can see that on their noses they have this beautiful brown M shape, and the stripes don't quite connect to it, and that is an identifying feature of the Grevies. They also have these great big ears. They are from arid regions of Kenya and Ethiopia, and so the ears are actually used for thermoregulation. They have lots of blood vessels in those ears, so when it gets really hot, they can lift their ears up and shake them and dissipate a lot of heat from their head. And you can see on their backs, they do have a brown stripe that goes down and back into their tail. That is called their dorsal stripe, and it is an extension of their mane. And so that is how the tail pattern is different as well. So the plains have those rings, and then these guys have their dorsal stripe that goes down into their tail. And so that is the most crucial factor of their endangerment. So in the wild, zebra need water about once every 5 days. And that is if they are not pregnant or lactating for a foal. If they are pregnant, they need water at least once every other day. If they are lactating, they need water every single day. And unfortunately, there just hasn't been enough water to warrant reproduction, so they have stopped reproducing in the wild altogether. On top of that, as if that's not bad enough, they are poached in the wild as well. There is still a problem with that in their native range. Their stripes are very desirable for things like rugs and coats and purses, so that unfortunately is still an issue. Does anyone have any questions about the Grevy's zebra?
How many of them do you have? Is this the herd?
We have 10 total, I believe. And this is an all-female herd. And so yeah, this is all female. So how Grevy's work, they have a matriarchal social structure. So typically in the wild, they'll keep mostly female herds, and one female out of the herd is the matriarch, which our matriarch is actually the one standing to the far right there. Looking at you guys, her name is Sarah. She is our matriarch. She is a very kind and fair ruler. And then here at the preserve, we do have a breeding stallion as well. His name is Marty. He is in a pasture that is at the front of the preserve, kind of tucked away from where people can see. And right now, it is actually Grevy's breeding season. So there are 2 girls in there with him right now. And so hopefully adding to our insurance populations that we have here so that we can help out populations in the wild. Does anyone else have any questions about the Grevy's?
And they get that name roan from the kind of reddish, more reddish brown color of their coat as opposed to the greenish brown of the kudu and the purplish brown of the bontebok. Now, whereas kudu are very flighty, they are very scared, very creatures that love to hide. Roan antelope are not really like that. They're much more confident and they're much more aggressive. That's because they actually do have a way of defending themselves against predators if they need to. So you'll notice that all of our roan antelope have horns, not just the males, and they can use those horns to defend themselves. So what a roan antelope will do when they feel threatened is first they will make a vocalization that sounds like a lion's roar. Now that's enough to scare off a lot of smaller predators, things like cheetahs, leopards, hyenas, painted dogs, but if it is something large like a lion, probably won't work. What the roan does in that case is it will then start running with the goal of getting that lion to chase it. Once that lion is in pursuit, the roan will eventually flip around, bend down on its front knees, and present those horns. When the lion jumps, it's likely going to go for the jugular, which means that the roan is able to then swing its head up and try to get those horns into the soft underbelly of the lion. And they are pretty good at this. There have been puncture wounds as well as horn fragments found in those bellies of dead lions, and so they have rightfully earned the nickname the lion killers of Africa. Now we do have 13 roan right now, so it looks like most of them are here, but they also do have that whole back pasture we call
mid-sized species of zebra. They can get up to about 750 pounds. And they are from the mountains of Namibia. So if you're not familiar, Namibia is a country in southwestern Africa. And the terrain that they're used to in their native range is pretty rocky, and so obviously we can't replicate that up here in Northern California. And so all that means for us is that, and for them, is that we have to trim their hooves a little bit more often. All of our other zebra get their hooves trimmed about once a year, but here with the Hartmans it is about twice a year. So it's not that much more, but it does require just a little bit more maintenance to make sure these guys are happy and healthy all year round. And now that
tolerate that okay?
we do have to sedate them for it. So we make it well worth their while, and while they're sedated, we do their hoof trims, any vaccinations, any blood draw, like a thorough medical exam while they're under. So our contact with them in that regard is minimal because that is incredibly invasive, as you might imagine. And now that we have a great representative up here, I can show you guys how to ID the Hartmans from the other two species of zebra. So I personally think that their stripes look a lot darker than the other two. And as you can see on the face, you can see that they have this beautiful brown to black ombre. I always think of it like pouring creamer into freshly brewed coffee. I think that's what it looks like. And so that's what I always think of. And also, if you look at their necks, you can see this loose flap of skin that may look like an Adam's apple. That is actually called their dewlap. Both males and females have them. And what that is for is protection of the jugular. So in the wild, if a predator grabs them by the neck, hopefully they will grab that dewlap and not the jugular. It gives another chance for the Hartmans to escape the encounter. Now, another thing about the Hartmans,
You're right.
I got some.
Oh, yes, they are. Here they come. Oh, wow.
So the plain zebra has in their back and goes down through their tail. So that is another way to identify the Hartman's mountain zebra.
Don't look now that I'm spiking his back.
And as Julia said, I'm sorry.
I said Morpheus gets hand fed.
He does, and I will tell you why. So Julia mentioned when we were at the kudu that she is the trainer for one of the kudu. I am Morpheus's trainer, so that's why he gets hand fed from me. He is pretty gentle, so any one of our keepers can hand feed him, but he knows to come for me to treats a lot. And I was saying hi to Julia. And now that they're all here, I do want to touch on the fact that I did mention that the Grevy's zebra has a matriarchal social structure. The Hartman's mountain zebra don't have a social structure, which means that they are even more prone to kicking and biting at each other because every single one of these guys thinks that they are the boss, and they are constantly fighting to try to prove that to each other, which makes them an extremely resilient species.
Space. We will feed in the groups.
What'd you have to do with your hands, Debbie?
So that
I had to sanitize them because I
we'll
get
feed
to
in the
feed a
groups that we
giraffe.
came in, so please don't all rush up at once. We'll
I
let you
will
know
have
when it's okay to
germs.
come up. The easiest way to feed a giraffe is just hold your lettuce up like this. He'll come and grab it with his prehensile tongue, so you don't have to worry about getting bit. It is slimy, just a heads up. A lot of times people are surprised that the giraffe tongue is slimy. But it's like any other tongue, it's going to be slimy. I'm just giving you the warning now.
Wow.
Look at the tongue. Yeah. Tongue out that long.
Northern giraffe, and more specifically their subspecies is the Nubian giraffe. Nubian giraffe are unique because they are the tallest giraffes. They can be up to 19 feet tall. Now Mozzie here is only 15 feet tall, and he's actually our shortest guy. But we do have Dagger, who's 18 feet tall. He's our tallest. He's probably over there. He's a really dark one.